I had no idea when I started this project that there were radio dramas based on Jane Eyre, but I know now. I know that there are actually several, that they're mostly old, and that Orson Welles did a lot of them. Now that doesn't surprise me because Orson Welles was a big radio guy. But for my first one, I decided not to do an Orson Welles one just because I saw the movie and I figure his performance is probably similar to that in the movie. One of the first non-Orson Welles ones that I found was this one from 1941, Guild Screen Theater. I watched it, or listened to it, because, well, it was only half an hour long, and I thought, well, it's short, and I like Bette Davis, so I'll give it a try. Well, it being a radio drama, all you've got is the voices to go on. And, alright, first of all, there's Bette Davis being Jane Eyre, and I can't help but expect Bette Davis to play someone who is kind of domineering, small, but a strong, powerful character, a force to be reckoned with. Now, I know that's not always what she did. I like Bette Davis. I watch Now Voyager every time it comes on TV, and she played a governess who is romantically involved with the master of the house who has a problematic wife, to very good effect in All This in Heaven too. But it just was really hard for me to visualize because although she was using her diminutive waif voice, I just... Maybe because the person was using pictures of her in different roles, and one of them was Jezebel, and how different from Jane Eyre can you get? The other thing that I had trouble with, okay, this was totally my fault. Brian Aherne was playing Rochester. Now, first of all, I thought it was Brian Aherne, so to find out that I was pronouncing that wrong all along was kind of a shock. But also, when they said Brian Aherne, I just automatically pictured Brian Donlevy. So, all along, I thought that was the voice that I was hearing, and it wasn't. And then later, I went to find pictures to use for this video, and surprise! Brian Aherne. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. I don't recognize you. You don't look like who I was picturing. Well, then I got my confusion cleared up, and I felt kind of stupid. I was kind of disappointed in Brian Donlevy, who I thought was Brian Aherne, for giving kind of a lackluster, underwhelming performance, and I think of him as being a little bit more exciting. And, well, got that cleared up. It wasn't him, so that's why I was disappointed. Sorry, Brian Aherne. As far as the actual script of the show goes, it moves really fast. Really fast. It starts with Jane giving a very brief monologue about where she's been already, and she's going to Thornfield, and, she meets Rochester right upon her arrival, and he's very fast-talking and to the point, and then she gives him a little tiny bit of sass back, and he's like, oh, who are you? Hello? And then, ding, time passes, and she's teaching, and he comes in, and he compliments her, and then he starts getting romantic, and it's a weird transition, kind of. And then there's mad laughter, and he tells her, no, you have to leave. And then there's the curtain of Act 1. Act 2, she's like, well, I'm leaving. And he's like, I'm sorry, marry me. And I got so confused. Well, I didn't get confused. I was just frustrated because it just seems like they played cut and paste with the story. The veil tearing thing happens, but it's ridiculous because she's describing this person with red eyes coming toward her, and yes, it's all very dramatic, except you can hear the laughter, and you can tell that it's obviously a woman who's laughing and not some kind of demonic creature. Grace Poole comes in and interrupts the wedding and says that she is Mrs. Rochester's sister. I guess that was how they cleared up cutting out Mason. Jane leaves and is very quickly glossed over that she stays with a parson and his family or his sisters or something. And then she says, I couldn't stay away though, I needed to go back. And her justification is basically, heck with the world, I want to go back and you can say whatever you want about it, I don't care. And that really bothered me. just about every decision that they made with regard to editing and rewriting, I took issue with, because they just changed it so much that it was just another story about a governess who falls in love with her boss, and they have a little trouble, but everything ends up okay in the end. It felt like the story and the characters were diminished, and it was not a good show. They did use some Tchaikovsky, though, for background music, and that was a plus. Ooh, really seems like I'm grasping at straws there. Hey, anytime you use the Romeo and Juliet Fantasy Overture, though, you'll at least get some positive credit from me.